Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I am in the Prinz Eugen, and this is Enduring Confrontation Naval Forces Saipan. And this is one of those maps that I don't think is really all that great for Enduring Confrontation, but this is an epic moment, and there are two parts of this video. The first one is to take this point, and as you can see, it has taken us quite some time to get there. And it was pure luck that no aircraft came in with a torpedo, that there didn't spawn any sort of destroyers and cruisers all over the place time after time, up until the point that we catch a torpedo or we get gunned down. So I, together with I guess another cruiser or a destroyer, I'm not quite sure, we made it here. And I can tell you what, the Prinz Eugen is not just a good looking ship, but its guns still take no prisoners. Now, while I absolutely love to sit also in enduring confrontation with the Admiral Graf Spee and just lob those shells to 15, 16, 17 kilometers and score kills, that's amazing. But you know what? The DPM is firmly on the side of the Prinz Eugen, and it's also a premium ship. So if I invest hours of a single day in one match, I want to make sure that not just am I in one of the best performing ships with some of the best anti-aircraft, but also some of the best guns. And I think that the compromise between armor layout, speed, and also the guns in terms of firepower with the anti-aircraft firepower on the Prinz Eugen is just unmatched, even in the German tech tree. And so this as a premium is to a certain degree a bit pay to win. You might argue that for whatever reason the Admiral Graf Spee is significantly better, but we will see this in just a moment, if that is really true. Because the funny thing is, if you look at the minimap right now, you can see that this is now the first outpost that we get on this minimap, and a little bit of spoiler, it will also be the only one. And the tip of C2 will be an absolute slaughter ground from now on. And just a few minutes later, actually, this happened. So there not just appeared a spawn on the edge of the map, a bit to the north, but also with it, an Admiral Graf Spee, and the player in it, which is called Mudslinger, has proven to be very effective on the other side of the map, with 24 player kills so far. So I can expect that he has quite a lot of spawn points to spare, but at this distance where he just appeared, which is under 9 kilometers, more like 8.5 kilometers, this is no distance for both gun types. As you can see, armor doesn't really matter versus German 8-inch or German 11-inch guns. I get also simultaneously attacked from the south by an Atlanta, a plane, and there is a light cruiser, and I still need to prevent the AI units to just simply, well, make their route. They all must die, while I also must watch out for torpedoes. So there is not that much that I can do versus the plane, except watch the pretty firework. And yeah, those 40mm Bofors, they really pay off. So I just noticed that he has respawned, and another AP salvo is out. Just, I know that I had here the range. A torpedo finds its mark. While those might not be the infamous long lances, they are still pretty good, and they still can hit targets and one-shot them. And every torpedo that you don't fire can't hit anything. So, how does it look on the Admiral Graf Spee? That's what I'm talking about. Because he actually tried to turn and go to angle his armor, which can be really effective, make no mistake. He just exposed his underbelly, if you will, and so it was even easier to hit his magazine. And the rear magazine blew up. And just as I shoot, he actually respawns yet for another time. I expect to die here sooner or later, so some of those eels, as there is a slang for torpedoes in Germany, are on their way. And yet another AP salvo it is as well. He has swung his turrets around. He also will shoot in just a moment. That was bad lead. I just only hit here the rudder. I'm flooding, I'm burning, I have to repair stuff, my crew is dying left, right and center. The Atlanta still tries to hose me down with AP and HE spam. Come on, another salvo, and he also shot. So there is not much that I can do. I only can hope that those 6 shells will miss. And indeed, he shoots short, and my shells find the front magazine. So attention back here to the Köln. And you might say that he will die really quickly, but you know, the focus is obviously, the priority is obviously the Admiral Graf Spee. Good hit here, but I just can't find here the front magazine and the rear magazine. I tried to turn, but the ship immediately goes to one side, and this is something that a lot of people don't bother to turn because, well, you just can't fire at the same time, and as you can see, you also unangle your armor and all those funny things. While I still spot here the stern of the Admiral Graf Spee, I also noticed that he points way too much to the front with his guns, and I suspect that those are the launches of torpedo. Meanwhile, a few good hits here into the elevator of the ammunition on the front turret, but sadly no magazine hit. So that was pretty rough. I switched to HE because I think that I can get more damage in and cause some fire and flooding. And the Admiral Graf Spee respawns again. So this is the respawn system that I absolutely don't agree with. The combat distances are too short, and so I also switch back to AP, which is significantly more useful. And that brought the Admiral Graf Spee enough time to respawn and actually turn his turrets. And while the Nürnberg perishes, I don't get the hits in on the Admiral Graf Spee. So I survived the salvo, but heavy damage it was on my end. Bit more lead, this time on the front magazines, but actually no, he eats a torpedo from a Kyoshimo. So that was pretty cool. I'm not quite sure if I would have ammo-wrecked him here once again. So the Atlanta is still peppering me from the south, and now I need to farm those spots. Again, the armor of the Prinz Eugen has to be proven to be remarkably sturdy if angled, and as long as the enemies are with their 5 and 6 inch guns at range, talking about, yeah, somewhere between 8 and 10 kilometers, the armor, especially angled, is really awesome. And that keeps you in the fight for quite some time. Together with your turret armor, which leaves your guns in place and to be knocked out rather rarely, you just can punish the enemies over and over again. So this is now the advantage, where we have now slaughtered all the bots, and now I turn my attention to this poor Atlanta, which now feels a little bit lonely. So I think I showed who's boss here, and yeah, Napalm is arrogant again. Yeah, you know, after this inferno that I actually punished the enemy and gave them hell, I can say that I was a little bit evil to them with my guns. And so I think this is the proof that this ship is a little bit paid to win. Because if you can dominate an Admiral Graf Spee like this, you can imagine what you do to light cruisers and to other nations' heavy cruisers. For example, what's that poor British cruiser? The HMS Hawkins. Imagine that being a fight, especially at range, or versus the Belfast, etc. So the question is, I think that together with the capturing of the point and defending it, which was quite intense at times, but also you had some downtimes, but those downtimes were a bit of catching breath, you know, and relaxing. And I think that there is also a lot of charm in long-range artillery duels. Last week's Enduring Confrontation on stream with Collusion, I had a 17-kilometer ammo rack hit on an enemy heavy cruiser, which was incredibly awesome. And this is like the final gift of naval forces. There is so much wrong in naval forces, but there is also so much potential and so much good stuff in this. And this video is a little bit about the fun. Now, I think that after this, the match actually ended. Let's have a look at what I got after 3 hours with this premium ship without boosters. And there you can see 400,000 civilians without a booster, just because it's a premium ship and just because I have a premium account. But even more impressive, 98,500 research points. And that is just absolutely incredible. There are bots to farm, there are players to farm, and I think if you do this in a squad, you can have actually quite a lot of fun. And I think that this shows the massive difference between the enduring confrontation, although it needs a lot of polishing still to be done, but also the normal random queue, if you will. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, just showing some of the highlights as well as I did. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.